Yo guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Now don't you sort of just hate it when you sign on a new client, whether that be your first client or you've already got a few and you get a new one on board, and then like after a month's time they just leave because they didn't get any good results, or they just weren't happy with what you were with the results that you got them in the first month, within the first few weeks of working together. Don't you just hate going through all of that work in order to try and get them, in order to try and actually get the client? And then, like I say, after the first month, they'd leave because they're not happy. So then you've got to go back through it all again. And, it's just really a messy process that you've got to keep going through. And it's really hard to build a sustainable, agency and, really more of a sustainable business that way, by keep having to go through the same thing over and over again. And you're not really getting anywhere, You sign 3 clients and then they all leave after the first month, and then you sign another 3 clients, and it's not like you've signed 6 clients now. Really, you just signed 3, right? So you're back to square one. You keep having to go through the same process and you don't really get anywhere with your business. It's not a really good way to actually scale up your marketing agency. And so in this video, what I wanted to show you and sort of tell you about is how to sign clients on 3-month minimums, and actually how you can do this by making it more appealing to the client for them to actually stay on a 3-month minimum, as opposed to actually only 1 month, or rolling month by month. Obviously this way, once you sign a client, they're guaranteed for 3 months. So whatever you charge your retainer as, say it's $3,000 per month, really, you've actually made $9,000, and that's guaranteed because you've got them on the 3-month minimum. And also, by doing this, you actually keep them on for far longer than the 3-month minimum, because as I'll show you in a minute, you can actually get better results if you have them for the 3-month minimum. And of course, if they can see that you're getting better results, they're going to stay with you a lot longer than the initial 3 months. So really it works out to be better for you. Obviously you make much more money from the client, but you also, we can position it in a way that it's best for the client, which it actually is best for the client. Okay, so the first thing that I actually wanted to delve into in terms of, signing clients on for 3-month minimums, because I know a lot of people don't know how to actually attack it. What you want to do is on the call, on the sales, the video conference, or if it's a face-to-face meeting, whatever it may be, what you want to do is say, look, this is my price. So maybe, like I said before, $3,000 per month is your retainer. So you go, $3,000 per month is the retainer, and that's for a 3-month minimum. After the 3-month minimum, it's rolling month by month, and then you be quiet, right? And with my sales calls and whatnot, more often than not, they don't even question it. But I know, some people have questioned before, and I know, a few of my students do struggle with this because they say, oh, well, I don't really want to do it because, they don't want to essentially be committed for the whole 3 months. So here's where the strategies come into play on how you can actually go ahead and make it, position it to be in the client's best interest. So as I said, the first thing you want to do is if they, question it, or they say anything like, oh, I don't really want to do it, what you want to do is explain the emotional journey of the process, okay? So what you want to do is explain the 3 months. So you can say, in the first month, in the first few weeks of us starting, your emotions is going to be excited. You've just started, you're going to see, all these new ads going out. It's going to be a lot going on, and you're going to actually be really excited. Now, by week 3, week 4, closing in on the end of the first month, your emotion is going to dip a little bit, just because you're not going to see the results that you expect. You're not going to see a lot of money in return. Simply because in this phase, this is when we're testing, etc. So the results aren't going to be that great, even though you are going to be getting really good results. They're not going to be as good as they can be at the end of the first month. However, by the second month, we would have figured out how to, what works best for you and your business. So then you're going to see your results starting to creep up, and obviously your emotions are going to start to creep up as well. And then by the third month, we're going to have everything in place. Things going to be dialed down. It's going to be perfect, and we're just going to be able to really scale up from there. And so obviously your emotion is going to go, it's going to skyrocket. And then after the 3-month period is up, obviously then you're just gonna have amazing automatic results coming in every single month. But the emotional journey, you know, you start off here, it dips a little bit as the first month comes to an end, but then it goes straight up. And, you know, obviously at the end of the 3 months, you can decide then whether you want to keep it rolling month by month. You know, so you want to explain it in those terms. And, you know, you want to say that because of the dip at the end of month 1, because of, you know, the emotional connection to the service at the end of month 1 will dip a little bit. A lot of clients actually opt out. So if we didn't get you on a 3-month minimum, a lot of clients, what they do and what I've seen from experience, you know, they opt out at the end of month 1, and they do it just before the cusp of it going back up. So they actually don't reap the rewards, and they don't actually get to see what the benefits really are of this service, right? So you want to position it like that. It's in the client's best interest, because at the end of month 1, when they start to feel a little bit uneasy, that, you know, they lose a bit they feel a little bit uncertain about the process. At that point, you know, every client experiences it. So at that point, a lot of clients, like I said before, a lot of clients do opt out. But then, if they stay, which the 3-month minimum essentially forces them to stay. So if they stay, they will eventually reap the rewards and get the amazing benefits of your service. So that's how you position it in the client's best interest, right? Now, the next thing is, you know, after that, if they're still not wanting, if they're still a bit uneasy about the 3-month lock-in contract, what you can actually do is explain the process from your side. Obviously, don't go into super deep detail and don't tell them exactly what you're doing, but you want to explain the broad process of what you're actually doing. So explain to them, you know, the first month we're in the testing phase. So we're testing to see what works best for your business. And, you know, we tailor our services towards you as the client. We don't have a broad package. We have individual services that we tailor to you. So we need to figure out, you know, what works best, what doesn't work, and what does work really well for your business. So that's month 1. So obviously we're testing different things. We're seeing what works, what doesn't. So the results aren't going to be that extraordinary. However, in month 2, we're starting to find our feet a little bit. You know, we're starting to find our feet a little bit. We can start to see what is working, and we can start to see what's not working. So obviously we can, you know, throw away what's not working and really hone in on what is working. And then obviously as a result of this, the results are going to start going up, and that's where the emotions start going up as well. Month 3 comes around, we've dialed in exactly what works, we know exactly what doesn't work, so now we're tripling down on what does work. And then obviously, as I said, the results are a byproduct of this, and then as a byproduct of that is your emotions will start to skyrocket as well. So you want to explain that sort of process, because then that allows them to see what sort of happens on our side, and it shows them that, yeah, okay, you know, it's like anything, you know, nothing's going to be perfect off the bat. We need to see what works best for you as the client, and then from there, you know, after month 1, middle of month 2, we can start to scale up on what does work. But, you know, they don't think about that unless you actually tell them. So like I said, if they still question the process, still are a little bit, you know, uncertain about the 3-month contract, just explain those 2 points. And, you know, if they still don't want to go ahead with it, what you can actually do is go ahead and use an analogy. So the analogy that I often use is, you know, becoming a personal trainer. You know, having a personal trainer. Personal trainers know a lot of things about food, training, etc., etc. But when they first start off with a client, they sit down with them, they see what the client wants, where the client wants to go, where, you know, the industry that the client is in. Although they might be, say, you know, in our case, they might be a restaurant client. Are they a high-end restaurant? Are they a low-end restaurant? You know, all that sort of stuff. So the personal trainer will sit down with the client, and they'll see what their goals are. They'll see what their goals are. They'll see, you know, if they're fit, if they're unfit. So all these little things that they need to find out about the business before they can actually delve in and actually go ahead and scale. That's essentially, you know, that's essentially what the first month is like for us as, you know, agency owners. We know what works for, say, for example, for me, the e-commerce and info product niche. I know what works. You know, I know what ad copy works. I know what pictures work, or, you know, videos or pictures. I know the strategy of the Facebook ads, you know, the overall, I know what works, but there's little tweaks, there's little things that are different between clients, right? So this is what the first month is. We're testing to see what works best for this client in particular. We're not just sort of just spraying from the hip and just hoping that one ad will work. We're testing, we're seeing which ones are working, which ones are, you know, in my case, which ones are above break-even ad spend, which are below, and then obviously as month one comes to a close, we're turning off the ones that don't work, and then we can really scale on the ones that do work. So that analogy does help the client to understand, and you know, if by this point they still don't want to go ahead, don't worry about it. Just forget about this client, and you know, just move on to the next one, because there's plenty of clients out there. You just obviously need to go ahead and find them, and then obviously that's where the outreach process comes in. But I hope this helps. I hope this enables you to start signing clients on for 3-month minimums, because that is exactly what you should be doing. So as I said, I hope this video was helpful. If anybody needs any help, please hit the link in my description. It'll be a link to my Instagram page. Just send me a private message on there and I'll help you out as much as I possibly can. And also, you know, if you're at a point in your agency where you got one client, or maybe you don't have any clients, or you feel like you're a bit stagnant, you know, all these courses out there are just too broad, they don't really help you directly, hit me up on my Instagram DM, and you know, I actually do offer a one-on-one 4-week intensive program where, you know, I literally hold your hand every single step of the way in order to get your first 2, 3, 4 clients. A lot of my students actually have gotten their first client within I think one of them was actually the first week and a half, 2 weeks of us working together, he actually got his first client. So, you know, hit me up on my Instagram DMs, and you know, we can really take your agency to that next level by us literally sitting down together and, you know, just implementing everything that you need to do in order to take you to that next level, and then, you know, just in order to take you to where you want to be at with your agency. So as I said, message me on Instagram, and I really look forward to, you know, speaking to you all, and as I said, I hope this video just sort of lays out the really sort of clear-cut steps that you need to take in order to start getting 3-month minimum clients.